And take us away.
Okay, we'll take two on this one.
Yeah, it's been not as long as we thought, but long enough that when I booted us up to record the first time, we had forgotten to do a sound check,
Yeah.
and so
Um.
we were recording for a few minutes, and unknowingly my audio was just barely coming in,
Yeah.
so we had
So yeah, basically, there've been a number of factors for why it's been so long.
yeah, primarily the setup.
Yeah.
I'm kind of hoping that with a slightly superior setup we have now, it's we're going to be able to get these out a little bit more smoothly.
Yeah, there've been matters of finding time to record it, finding time to read the comments since it's something new to both of us.
Yeah.
Finding time around our other work. It's been a thing.
Yeah, I do genuinely really enjoy doing these. I especially love getting responses from the artists and from the people
Yeah,
creating these.
they should become a little bit more frequent after this.
Yeah. Yeah, we've got a bunch of options, I think, for the next one. But for now, we're doing Jackdaw, which is very different from a lot of the other pieces that we've reviewed thus far.
Yeah, this time it is largely like a you have to pay for it.
Yeah, there are sample pages that are available, which
We will only be showing the sample pages.
yeah, it actually felt kind of big time for us when I remember feeling kind of cool when I first got the email asking us to review this, because it was the point in our career where we're getting free shit.
Yeah.
They gave us the issues of the comic for free.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, obviously they would have to. I mean, it'd be dickish for him to say,
Yeah, he reviewed this comic based on 30-some pages that are free.
I was gonna
And
say,
missing a lot of context.
review this comic for us. It's $3 an issue.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not that much. I honestly think it's pretty much worth the money, but it's kind of a dickish thing to say to somebody.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and say right now, before we really get into this, just we're going to be largely positive on this comic,
Mm-hmm.
but we do have grievances with it.
Yeah.
Just putting that out there now.
Yeah. On the whole, though, I would recommend it for that price.
Yes. If what you see here interests you, or go take a look at the site, look around at the sample pages, and just by the time you've read what they have for free for the first chapter, if you enjoy what you read, then yeah, it didn't hurt to at least buy the first issue and see how that works for you.
Honestly, my main hesitation for why I don't think I would have bought it myself, but that's mainly because the comic isn't done yet.
Yes,
it's a 4-issue series, and they've only done the first 3, and I just traditionally like to buy 3. I like to buy the complete story at once.
Yeah. Yeah. Personally, this is one of those things. I don't really know if I would have bought it online, but I probably would buy this in a store.
Yeah, I could definitely see myself buying this much more easily if I just saw it in the local comic shop.
Yeah, if I just flipped through it for a bit and just kind of caught my interest.
Oh yeah, because you kind of just more. It's just more freedom in a store.
Yeah. Between this comic having a smaller amount of pages than others that we've reviewed, and also having a lot less that we can actually show, this review probably won't be all that long, but we don't really know for sure.
We kind of broke our own rules even reviewing this one, because our main guideline for the most part in accepting comics to review is that they have to be bare minimum 100 pages, and this is below that.
I don't know. It cuts it close. It probably is I think it's at about 90.
Okay. Wait, is that in counting the issue in progress?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't read. For the record, the 4th issue is mostly is all of it available as thus far?
No, well, yeah. So far, everything done of it's available. Looking, there are presently 82 pages.
Ah, okay.
So a bit south of our norm, but
yeah,
there's still enough there that we can kind of pretty clearly judge it, especially because it's fairly close to the end.
Yeah, there is a lot of content to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the place we're going to start on this is the artwork.
Yes.
It's It's very different, and I'm trying to exactly think of how to sum it up. Kind of the proper response to like this particular artwork style is pulpy, but I feel like that's kind of insulting.
Yeah, there's something really particular it reminds me of art-wise, but I can't quite put my finger on what it is.
It's very similar to, you mentioned this when you were first reading it. You mentioned that it's very similar to the old school black and white Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle comics, and also to the old school 1970s Judge Dredd comics.
Yeah,
And
a little bit more detail than those, but yeah, it is very similar, just an idea.
Yeah, and the thing was, like, both those stories were very pulpy, but at the same time, they were also very poorly drawn. Like, especially Judge Dredd, it just looked really shitty.
Yeah.
And this is very much the same aesthetic, just done nicely.
Yeah, well, this art, it takes some growing on you. It's not really my typical cup of tea, but it is largely good.
Yeah.
There can be some inconsistency to it.
Yeah, a little bit. I kind of had some. I was never quite able to get used to the faces, but even then, it's mostly because of the aesthetic choice. It's not.
Yeah. Yeah, it's largely just a matter of personal choice. Like, there's not really that much actually wrong with the art.
Yeah, it's just like
sometimes it looks very nice. Like that shot there, it just looks very nice.
Oh yes, it's very beautiful. I feel like we kind of came up to this too soon because I'm probably going to want to bring this picture back up during. Actually, I should get to drawing. I don't know how much time we're going to have for this.
Wonder who will do for this. Just the main two.
I guess. I want to do. Well, I'm going to be getting into this character anyway, so I don't feel bad saying his name. I kind of want to do Peacock, but I don't know like if we can actually bring up pictures of him. I don't know whether or not his pages are behind the paywall.
Yeah.
Because like I'm really like because I have the PDFs they sent us, saved. I do kind of want to look through those, but like I can't really do that. That'd be really unethical.
Yeah, that. Yeah, I suppose I did in the PDF and just did a standalone picture of him, but.
Yeah, it's alright. I'll just do the main two. He's a fairly minor character anyway. It's just one I really liked, but we'll get more into that.
Okay. Yeah, every now and then it can be a little hard to follow what's going on with the art.
A little bit, yeah.
But that's just kind of due to that whole very heavy shading and lack of color thing.
Which for you is not even the worst thing. Is not even the worst example of that you've seen.
Oh no.
Like he read a webcomic that did this like what he's referring like this the way that everything is shaded will sometimes make a page look very very busy.
Yeah.
And he one of the webcomic he's had experience reading was way worse with that. And I kind of want to read it myself just based on that one possibility. That and I don't know. Do you think we could do an episode on that?
Actually, just to clarify, the time you're talking about Metatodio, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
you showed me art.
Yeah, I would really like to review Metatodio.
Wait, what?
I said, actually, yeah, I would really like to review Metatodio at some point.
I'll add to the list. But yeah, the artwork is always very aesthetically very different from what I'm typically into, especially the faces. But I think it does look very nice.
Fred, do not take that to mean like I'm comparing the actual art to Megatokyo, because the art styles are very different.
Yeah, I can like even having only just glanced at Megatokyo, I can tell that.
Yeah.
Okay, where's a picture of her? There she is. Fuck! Wow, I'm only just now realizing just how much detail is in that armor.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing I do quite like about this, is all the costumes at least are very detailed.
Yeah, I honestly think they look better with... Also, all the characters look very much better with masks than they do without. Like...
I have no idea how to color these things.
What's that?
I said I have no idea how to color these things. I don't think there's a single color choice.
Yeah, I think you're just gonna have to do grayscale.
Yeah. But to be fair, I think I made a color scheme for Cloud's costume when we did Sandra and Wu, but still.
True. Okay, what were we talking about?
We keep referencing other comics that have nothing to do with this.
No, even before then, we were comparing this favorably to one of the other comics we reviewed, and even then, it's like in the process of reviewing it, we had to referencing it. We had to remember what the name of it was.
Yeah.
Anyway, the art style, solid, and I think again it's very reminiscent of Judge Dredd and those kind of pulpy comics, but not poorly drawn the way they were.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a certain, like, mesh on that old school, like, early 80s, like, black and white comics and, like, kind of a more modern aesthetic.
Yeah. From what you mentioned, early '80s, I keep wondering if Frank Miller was was an influence on this. But looking at it, I cannot really see any particular influences of Miller's art style.
I did kind of see it in the writing, but
Yeah, in the writing definitely, but he also had a very distinctive art style for his time.
yeah, his art style's nothing like this. His
No.
art style's a lot more blocky and less detailed.
Well, that's kind of like when I think of like good Frank Miller, I usually think of Daredevil, and that does not look right at all. And,
Well, I mean, like, whenever I think of his art style, I typically think Dark Knight Returns.
yeah, I typically think of Daredevil, and that's his art style is sort of present there, but you can tell it's like very different.
Yeah, now I'm looking it up.
Credit to the art style thing. In my art style, this costume looks ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm looking up his Daredevil work. Yeah, I can see what you mean.
Yeah.
Like, you can still kind of tell it's him, but there's more detail to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this does look quite different than his other art style.
I love how you. Thank you for softening that blow by saying different.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't even necessarily say bad. It just looks like just very. It doesn't carry the same level of tone.
It really does not. But yeah,
Which actually just goes to show another good strength of the art. Really, is that it very instantly conveys what kind of tone this comic has.
True, very, very, very true. Although I don't think it's quite as grim as the. That's one thing that
I wouldn't really describe it as grim. I would just describe it as very grounded and not even necessarily bleak, but at least kind of pessimistic.
Yeah, but it feels like the art style is trying to be more bleak than like the art style is more bleak than the story is.
True.
Like I can honestly see this story working with a like. Oh fuck! This art style honestly reminds me of Sin City. That's why I keep thinking of.
I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah,
like
that's why I was thinking Miller. Fuck.
Yeah, it's like I can really see that.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. I'd kind of iron out that cheat a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, I can do that. Where were we? Yeah, I think we hit everything we can on art style.
Yeah. I don't know. You want to talk about the actual costume designs?
Oh,
And we were discussing that a little bit earlier before we started filming this.
the main point. Well, one of the main points. I don't know. I should probably bring this up when we get to the parody thing for what my thoughts on the Jackdaw costume.
I don't even know that I'd really call it parody, just kind of influence, but
Well,
yeah, we could probably wait and go into that then.
yeah. When I was thinking of like because that a lot of the stuff I have to bring up on costumes relates to that.
Yeah. Although I would go ahead and say now, like, that is seriously a pretty cool costume.
It really is. Like a lot of these costumes are pretty good.
Yeah.
Although we'll get into like.
And also, it manages to quite well walk that tricky line of making costumes look related without making them look identical.
Yeah, that's a very. I can think of points I want to bring up on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Since we're kind of getting into some of our problems with the story, maybe we should just cut the crap and just go into cut the crap and go into our next bullet point.
Yeah, maybe we should.
Because the story of the webcomic is, well, as you can, it's. I don't know. You want to take this one?
Yeah. Okay. The story is interesting.
Yeah.
And largely pretty well executed, but it does have at least one major, really glaring problem.
Yeah. Well, I can think of two.
Yeah. Well, the main one that sticks out to me.
The second one might just be us.
Yeah. The main thing that sticks out to me is, like, as mentioned before, this is supposed to be like at least by all appearances, this is supposed to be a 4-issue comic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, it's labeled as like issue 1 of 4, 2 of 4, whatever.
Yeah, it's a mini-series.
Yeah. And it's midway through issue 4 right now, and the comic is almost all set up.
Yeah. Well, actually, Actually, when I said you want to take this, I meant like, we haven't really described what this comic is about.
Oh, true. Well, I mean, that kind of leads into the point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a very good point, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so basically, a lot of the comment is kind of establishing, like, okay, so you have this pair of heroes,
Right.
right? You have Jackdaw, of course, who is actually not the main character, and you have what was their name? Thrasher, I think.
I believe so. Yes.
Yes, Thrasher. Okay.
Yeah, Thrasher.
So, yeah,
Right there.
I think we've established by now I'm not good with names.
You're not the one who. You want to go back and rewatch the Venus Envy?
True. I think we established neither one of us is good with names.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. It's like, hey, I did remember it. I just wasn't sure about it. So there you go.
I don't remember it at all. I had to read down the page.
Okay, so basically it's about billionaire, dark brooding superhero Jackdaw and his sidekick Thrasher.
Yeah.
Which obvious Batman influence there.
Yeah.
But which I mean is quite on purpose. Comic's not trying to hide it.
No, definitely not.
And essentially it's about just her. It's kind of about her insecurities and struggles with this job.
Yeah, it's just she. It's about her day job, about getting calls from her boyfriend, just always having to be on call, all that.
Yeah, attending the university, just.
Yeah. And we're not spoiling anything on this because I think this is the first or second.
Most of this stuff is established right at the beginning. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not going to be going far into detail on this.
I meant specifically the fact that she kind of wants to get out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was kind of getting into that too.
Oh yeah, it's reached the point where she really wants to quit, but it's I can't just bail on him. I kind of have to make a big thing about this.
Yeah, so a lot of the comment is establishing, why she wants out, establishing how she got into this to begin with, establishing her relationship with some other characters and the villains and stuff.
Yeah, establishing even her relationship. One of the more fascinating. Well, we can get to that in a minute.
Yeah, establishing her relationship with Jackdaw and how he. What she knows about him and how he operates and all that.
Yeah, that's honestly one of the more fascinating parts of the comic. I think just the relationship she has with him because
establishing what her how she feels about all the media attention they get because they're very popular heroes.
Yeah, they actually have a movie coming out soon. That's not a minor sub note, which is what it sounds like. That's
they keep coming back to that.
Yeah, and there's implications about how long superheroes have been around and where Jackdaw got the idea from.
Yeah, and about the TV show he kind of based the character off of,
which incidentally is the Adam West Batman show.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah, it's there's even the specifics of this are, and they're building a history.
Yeah,
but
it's just. You'll notice I kept using the word establishes a lot, though.
Yeah, that's the big. I can't get a good shot of. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the big issue with this comic. A lot of it is kind of conveying information to you without having any clear direction.
Yeah, because for this, this would work if the comic were 12 issues.
Yeah, that's the thing. All the information sitting across to you is very interesting. It's doing it pretty well.
Yeah.
It's just. There isn't actually that much of an overarching plot here.
Yeah, it's this is if this were a longer if we're getting to issue 4, we should be at the cusp of the climax. We should not be still establishing a lot of mysteries.
I will say
unless we're Watch.
Yeah.
Lost. What?
I will say since issue 4 so far is entirely up on the side, I figure it's safe to say this.
Yeah.
Issue 4 does at least seem a bit more plot-focused.
Okay.
But it's still mostly just kind of on one particular subplot that hadn't gotten that much attention before, and it still leaves a lot of, lingering issues so far.
Okay.
So... Yeah, it's a good content. It's a very interesting start. It's just kind of whenever you realize, okay, so this thing's apparently about to end soon.
Yeah,
it just kind of takes you out of it a bit because it feels like a lot of the setup is just kind of going nowhere.
Yeah, because imagine if you're reading Watchmen and you get to the part where Rorschach is arrested, and you're there's one more issue before the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
When does that happen? Think about issue 7.
I don't remember. Watchmen is all kind of blurred to me.
Yeah. It's kind of one of those things you're not reading that issue to issue.
No, no.
Like, if you're reading Watchmen, you're reading that over the course of an afternoon.
I think it took me like a couple of days.
Yeah, I think it did for me too.
I do remember that I figured out like who the main villain was before it was revealed.
I had it spoiled for me, but even then I did not tell it.
Yeah. We're going off track.
Okay.
But yeah, the story is that's the main problem with the story. There are a lot of good aspects to it, though. In particular,
It feels like a really good prequel to a Thrasher comic.
yeah, like this issue is just. And when we say a really good prequel, we don't mean like it's setting itself up for a sequel. It's like there's already a Thrasher comic that exists somewhere, and this is the prequel to it. Which just does nothing but establish shit that we already knew from the actual book, which is what prequels tend to do.
Yeah, it's... Huh. Okay, I just noticed that the site actually has a section for a trailer. Like with a video.
I kind of wish I knew that before we started this, because, wow, I really want to see that.
Yeah, huh.
Huh.
Well, I suppose we will probably be linking to that.
Yes, most definitely. Also, related to that, you might want to be thinking about this. When... For the article on Comixology, which is where you can go to buy the comic, incidentally, I'm sure we'll have links to that, of course, as well. They have blurbs from reviewers, so...
Huh.
Yeah,
Well, I guess we'll be leaving sound bites coming on.
yeah, yes, doesn't suck. Put that on the poster.
Oh, I would honestly say it's quite good for what it is. It's
Yeah,
just...
I know, but I really want something that would sound weird on... whatever, they're not going to use that anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is quite good, but anyway, there, put that on the poster.
Yeah. But yeah, it does. A lot of it does feel like it's just kind of establishing further detail on stuff we've already heard about in a separate comic taking place after this.
Yeah, because again, it just does not feel like this is too much to put in 4 issues.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a compliment, but it is not.
Yeah. It is a case where I will give it, for all the stuff they're establishing, they juggle it really well.
Yeah, they really do. It's like, again, it just feels like the story is supposed to be going for like 10 issues, and not 4.
Yeah.
What they do have is very nicely is very like. Nice.
I mean, for all we know, maybe they're like doing like a series thing with it, but I mean, I don't know how to read like issue 1 of 4, issue 2 of 4 outside of just like there are going to be 4 issues.
Yeah. It's weird.
It's like, if we're wrong about that, please let us know. We'll address it in the next episode.
Yes, we do feel very embarrassed when we make mistakes like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, what was really, a lot of the elements of the story I was very interested in particular, her relationship with her boss, Jackdaw. I mean, it's weird
because that's kind of the thing they touch on the least.
It is, but at the same time it works because it makes the character like very mysterious. I mean, you get a sense that even though she works with him, he's not a surrogate father figure to him. She's not. He's not even. He's kind of like even less interested than a boss. Like, I am genuinely very curious.
Yeah,
what their relationship is.
The talent does do a good job of making this guy look like a mystery.
Yeah.
Like, and even despite the obvious Batman influence, he still comes off like this guy's not Batman.
No, he's not.
It's like he probably has some sort of similar level of like motivation on some level, but it's kind of hard to tell with him.
Yeah, it's very hush. And that's honestly, I reread I read the comic when it was brought to me, at least the first issue, and then I had to reread it before we did this because it had been a while. Again, we're really sorry this took so long to get out, but when I reread it, like I genuinely didn't know if we had even gotten his secret identity or not. I thought it was
they touch on that, yeah.
Yeah, like it never comes up that much, but I honestly thought, like, was it like with Rorschach where we don't know who his secret identity is, period?
Yeah.
Well, for most of the
also,
time.
we really don't. We have a face and a name.
Yeah, and the fact that he's a billionaire.
Yeah.
And for the record, Thrasher's like, we'll be getting this into more of this later, but Thrasher is very much the same way. She does not feel like Robin.
Yeah.
At all. Like, the closest she comes is maybe Stephanie Brown as Robin, but even then, not not by very much.
Yeah, and even though you probably notice on a visual level there is like maybe it's just to me, but there is some Harley Quinn there. It doesn't really show the character.
Oh no, that's not just you. And the red light just came on my 3DS, so I'm just gonna turn this off now.
Yeah.
I was really hoping it was gonna show up.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, there's definitely some Harley in that design. Maybe it's the pigtails.
Yeah. But again, it doesn't really convey in the way the character acts.
No, she's definitely not Harley.
Yeah.
But
one of those pigtails is a lot bigger than the other.
Okay, get that. But yeah, and so much of the story is well handled. The way that they establish the world and like all the villains, I think it works nicely. The one problem that I do kind of have is that one way that they work to establish the villain is just like having Thrasher wiki walking in her spare time.
Yeah.
Just like going to various like Wikipedia sites and stuff and ego searching herself.
Yeah.
And like the people and like her adventures and like they kind of use that way too much.
They kind of do. At the same time, I kind of like that idea.
I like the idea. It's just like they're using it kind of too much.
Yeah. I'd fit in the bottom half of her face a little bit. It doesn't quite match up with the mask.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, I will admit, I could see some people complaining like, what kind of person would like look up information that she already knows? But I'm like, I'm exactly the kind of person who if I went on superhero adventures, I would come back and say like, oh shit, did anyone pay attention?
I'm the kind of person who about once a month or so find myself rereading the same TV tropes pages.
Yeah, I actually repeatedly go to my I actually regularly go to my own list of edits to TV tropes pages and like look at what I wrote.
Yeah.
We are stupid pathetic.
Yeah, it's like I do think it is a pretty good kind of natural way to establish these things, especially because in universe they do at least come up with a reason why she would wind up on this path to begin with.
Yeah. That's actually a fairly interesting thing. Her day job is that she's a university student who's studying the from what method was she looking at? From a psychological perspective?
I believe so. I don't know. I don't think they ever really entirely conveyed what she was doing there with that. It just had something to do with the job.
Yeah, she was like studying the effects of superheroics and supervillainy. And I think it was from a psychological perspective, but that might just be because I'm a psych major myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, good luck getting a job after you get.
Yeah, and they do pretty accurately convey how it is whenever you just kind of start off reading for a different purpose, and then you just get distracted and just keep reading because you want to.
Yeah, I think so many fucking people can relate to that.
Yeah, but yeah, they do a pretty good job of capturing that.
Yeah, they capture the feeling of that perfectly.
Yeah,
but
that is
I'm
one
just
thing.
saying. I'm just saying they use that method too. I'm just saying they use that method too much.
Yeah,
because it seems like it comes off like she does nothing but in her off hours do this.
Yeah.
Because we never actually see her in her university class, which I mean, granted, she's a graduate student, so she's obviously not going to be in class that much.
Yeah, there's a part where we like see her like talking with her instructor or whatever, but
yeah, but I mean, like not like, yeah, but still. Anyway, yeah. I can't think of anything else particular. Oh, one other thing I do want to say about the story is that. I really regret not. Well, maybe some of them are up here, but there are some really. How do I? Do they have an archive page? Oh, okay, here we go. I really kind of regret like how little we can actually show you because there are some really good sequences in this comic that really just made me go, "Holy fuck, that's awesome!"
Yeah.
One particular one was they get a call. The villain Hacksaw, which is a good name for a villain, is holding people hostage, and it's just. I
probably wouldn't go that far into detail on that, but yeah, that is a good creepy scene.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if it's actually here, but there's some creepy like image that we see of this. Oh, here it is. It's just like him. Like this was in the sample pages. This is him just like videotaping, a message to the cops about the hostages he has. And this is, I remember reading this going like, ugh.
Yeah. Yeah, the comic is quite good at establishing a lot of characters in a hurry.
Yeah, that's one of the bigger strengths because like, yeah, I can remember so many of the characters they came up with, and not just, and some of them are fairly unique. They're not just XBs.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, and really there are only like one or two characters I can think of I didn't really care for. Maybe they did work better for somebody else.
Yeah, I can think of some characters I didn't care for either.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, we kind of each have a different one that we kind of drift toward.
Yeah.
Which I guess we're transitioning on to the character bullet point then.
True. Wait. One more thing. One sequence that I did really, really like. I'm fairly positive this is not going to be in a sample page because it's a fairly big spoiler. But there's a part where the main character finds a journal, and it is genuinely like had me kind of like leaning forward in my seat, wondering what the fuck was going to happen next.
Yeah.
Because it's a pretty what the fuck moment.
It is a pretty engrossing comic. Like by the time I read, kind of went through the pages so far, I was just kind of like, oh, come on, there's not more.
Yeah. That's always a good feeling to have when like when finishing the archive binge makes you hit a brick wall.
Yeah.
I don't think I quite had that feeling because like I said, I never read the pages of chapter 10 which are available. I only read the 3 finished comics, but that's mostly because like I like having finished stories.
Yeah.
But yeah, I might actually buy since I have the PDFs of the first 3 issues. I might buy number 4 when it comes out.
Yeah.
I think I probably will.
It's like like reiterating now, like I would recommend this.
Oh yeah. On to the character thing though.
Okay. As we mentioned, most of the characters are pretty well rounded, pretty quickly established.
Yeah. A lot of the villains are pretty good.
And I'll say right now, like Thrasher, like you'll learn to like her quite a bit pretty quickly.
Yeah, she's she's a very 3-dimensional, very fully realized character. Jackdaw, like we said, is very mysterious. He does feel very, you are very intrigued to find out more about him.
Yeah. One thing I do really like about Thrasher, right?
Yeah.
Is how she's like, she's kind of angsty, but at the same time she doesn't feel mopey.
Yeah, that's a trap I've seen a lot of writers, especially comic writers, fall into, where they're they want to be angsty, but it just comes off like the characters do nothing but sit around and whine.
Yeah, she comes off like she does, like she has a lot of depression and stuff to work through, but at the same time, she is a functional human being.
Yeah, like even when her boyfriend I can't, shit.
Okay.
She gets into something with her boyfriend, and it looks like a part where like any other, like a poorly written character would just like be broken up and like fall apart. But and like she does get a little drunk, but she's still pretty. She still handles it, like she's broken up, but not to the point of like exaggeration.
Yeah, like she acts like an adult, not like a teenage girl.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, the comic is quite good about that.
Oh yeah. What was the character that you kind of didn't care for? Because I'm kind of really curious if it's the same one.
In my case, it was most that Molly girl.
Yes. Yeah, because okay, I like the idea. The idea is one of the villains that Thrasher fights is like the sidekick to like. What was it? Her mother was a supervillain, and she was like
her mom was a supervillain. She was like her sidekick as a kid, and then just kind of eventually just kind of went from being like supervillain to just kind of wash out spoiled criminal.
Yeah. Like the idea is that her mom was a supervillain. She was the sidekick, and naturally, and the deconstruction is like when her mom went to prison, she just wound up in foster care.
Yeah, and then just wound up kind of falling in and out of just like various petty crimes.
Yeah, like and I kind of really like this idea because it gives like it gives her someone she knows who's kind of her own age. You can see why they would connect with each other on some
Yeah.
level.
And it does play into the whole general approach of the narrative. Like, it's the whole superhero thing is very over the top and like very comic booky, but at the same time, it's taking a realistic look at it.
Yeah, it's not like, and when we say realistic, we mean actually realistic, not fucking Mark
Yeah, like it doesn't
Millar.
necessarily mean like everything's dark, so that means it's real now.
Yeah, that Mark Millar books are so fucking bad about that. But it does show that like it can really take a psychological toll on a person, and especially for Molly, who had a parent who was a supervillain, was very bad. So it's a good idea. This character is a really good idea in concept.
Yeah, they just kind of just make her just kind of a they they just kind of make her just kind of a token like paint by numbers trashy party girl.
Yeah. Plus, she she also eats up a way too much screen time.
Yeah, she really does.
Like we said,
Again, since it's on the site now, I'll go ahead and say like so far, pretty much book or issue 4 is pretty much entirely about her.
Oh, fuck off. Maybe I won't buy this one then. Yeah, that's a very dickish thing to say while we're recording, but I can't stop it.
Yeah. I don't know. There's been enough there, and there's enough still lingering. I figure issue 4 still probably has good stuff to pick up on.
Yeah.
But yeah, just there have been some decent moments with the character. It's just like I do find her the weak link of the story.
Really do. My main problem is like it feels like they're kind of sort of supposed to be shipping the two of them, but it really doesn't work at all.
It doesn't really come off like shipping to me. It just kind of feels like it just have a mirror kind of thing, or at least like a mutual respect kind of thing, but not really.
Yeah, it came off very shipping heavy to me in like the motions, but at the same time I didn't feel any real, like, her fascination with Molly came off very out of character. Like, why is she this interested in this person?
Yeah, I was failing to understand that too. It's like
Because yeah, Mirror,
she just kind of seems to keep talking about her.
yeah, like she keeps coming up in her thoughts. Like, I wonder what Molly's doing right now. Where's Molly? Molly, and then like, and I get it from us to a certain extent because you know, could be a mirror of her. Like, you know, they're the same age. They both went into the business, all that kind of thing, and but at the same time, it just feels way too weird. It just feels like way too out of place.
Yeah.
And
it does eat up too much screen time when surrounded by other issues that don't really directly involve her at all.
yeah, like I don't see how she plays into anything.
Yeah, like most of the rest of the stuff connects pretty well, but she just feels really out of place.
Yeah.
I could see a smash being very hard to get right.
Yeah, I could. I have a point to bring up on that when we get to the XP thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't think of any. Oh, another character that I did really like, which I don't think I think we're okay to go into like at least a little bit of detail on this one. It's one of the supervillains. It's called the Peacock.
Yeah.
And I remember reading this and thinking like, this is a great idea for a supervillain.
Yeah.
The idea is he was student or scientist or whatever, tragic accident. Oh no, actually he used to be a male escort.
Yeah.
Got into a tragic accident. Now the tragic accident gave him the ability to be irresistible to women.
I don't even think it was an accident. I think it was like just an experiment that went wrong or something.
Kind of, sort of, same difference.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like that power is honestly not a pretty good one for a supervillain because it's at the same time the character is written to be like very friendly and coy and has a lot of charisma.
Yeah, he has the simultaneous thing of being like really kind of likable and charming and kind of funny, yet at the same time being pretty creepy.
Yeah, it's like he's very charming and you do want to hang out with him, but he's very, very rapey.
Yeah.
Like you get a sense like like.
I also really like the way he's drawn.
Yeah, he's drawn very nicely. He's drawn with kind of like this, I don't know, kind of like porcelain. His face looks like it was carved.
Yeah, he looks like he always has a. He looks like he's followed around by a constant gust of wind, always blowing his hair in the most complimentary way possible.
Yeah, he looks. Yeah, he does just look like the perfect man.
Yeah,
like the ultimate Adonis. and it's a nice effect. I remember thinking like, I want this bad guy in another comic because this is a great bad. Which okay, that actually sounds very insulting, but you get what I mean. Like, I want to see this bad guy somewhere else because this is a great idea for a villain.
Yeah.
He can simultaneously be very likable and charismatic and at the same time come off as very dangerous.
Yeah.
Which are usually the best kinds of supervillains.
Yeah.
I was watching Silence of the Lambs earlier, and I think like the other day, and I think the main reason I was so pissed off about it is because I didn't understand why everyone thought Hannibal Lecter was charismatic or threatening.
Yeah. I wonder if you should try watching Hannibal then.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
What?
If eating Ray Liotta's brains doesn't make you charismatic, nothing does.
Yeah. Is that a thing that happens in that show?
He eats his brain. Oh, the show. I thought you meant the. I
know the show. The general consensus on the show from people who've actually watched it, which isn't that many because it gets terrible ratings, is that's like a way better performance of the character than what
Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, like than what he did.
Yeah. There's a scene in the movie Hannibal where he like. We're getting way off topic. I gotta show you this anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. Enough about Hannibal. I can't even judge on because I've not seen anything with the character.
Yeah. It's Ray Liotta is conscious as he's doing this.
Yeah. Oh God, yeah, I've heard about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's remarkably stupid. Anyway, what were we talking about?
Okay.
We're recording. That's weird.
Yeah. Okay, so which? Okay, did you want to go ahead and talk about that other character you kind of took issue with, or?
Oh, that's more in like the XP thing.
Yeah. Okay.
I guess we can...
Yeah, there are a good few other characters, but I can't really think of that many others that are worth going into necessarily.
There was Hacksaw, but we honestly didn't see that much of him.
I was kind of interested to know more about Blackbird, but we don't really see or hear much about that either.
No. If anything, I think I'm more interested to find out more about some of the villains in this.
Yeah. The comic does leave you wanting more. That's a nice thing about it.
Yeah.
I did come away from this hope. Like, I am hoping that, like, you know, after those 4 issues, whatever, the intention is to do a more full comic or a Thrasher one or another miniseries or something.
Yeah, something. That's a good blurb, though. Leaves you wanting more. Consider that, people who made this comic.
Yeah.
Whatever your names are. Right. What were we... Yeah, next point, then.
Yes, okay. So I guess we're moving on to the whole XP thing, then.
Yeah, this is sort of an odd point, but, obviously there's a lot of influence from mainstream comics onto this one. In particular Batman.
Yeah.
And when you're doing something like that, you have to sort of keep in mind, like, how well you're doing it.
Yeah, and also how obvious it's being.
Yeah, because obviously they're not hiding shit about this one at all, but at the same time, if you're not hiding it, it can be very distracting.
Yeah, and at times it can be with this taunt.
Yeah, especially toward the beginning, but
yeah, at the beginning I was having trouble not just thinking, like, oh, so he's Batman.
Yeah.
And so the comic does get better about that, and does a good job of, like, establishing him as his own creation or whatever. There is still just that air of, like, oh, so he's Batman.
Yeah, even like as we go later into the comic and we get like some weirder aspects, like, you know, Adam West. What is basically Adam West is a fairly major character.
Yeah.
But even then, it doesn't feel too bad.
Yeah, it helps that he didn't really look or act like Adam West.
No, he really didn't. Although that was actually throwing me. I actually expected him to look more like Adam West.
Yeah.
That's one of the bigger problems I have with the comic, especially. I think this guy. I'm gonna try and see if I can find a better picture of him. This supervillain that they're trying to stop in the opening pictures is called Professor Ersatz.
Yeah.
Which is, if you're familiar with tropes, is a sort of title of saying like a parody of someone.
Yeah.
Well, there it's Captain Ursat's, but
Well, I think that's more. I think that trope is more for like whenever you can't use an actual character, so you're using a stand-in.
yeah, something like that.
Though I assume the name has roots in something else.
I think that's basically what it was. But yeah, the character of Professor Ursat's is Dr. Horrible.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, look at the way he's dressed. That is Dr. Horrible's outfit. Like, it's absurdly shameless.
Yeah.
And kind of my problem with it is not the fact that it's shameless, it's the fact that it's Dr. Horrible.
Yeah, it's like, honestly, in that costume, he doesn't get that much screen time or anything, but it does kind of take you out of the moment.
It really does. Like,
the name kind of does, too.
The what does?
The name.
Yeah, the name really does. I mean, Dr. Horrible is already a parody.
Yeah.
Like, if it were a parody of the Joker, I wouldn't mind so much, or of Lex Luthor or somebody, but it's... You can't do a parody of a parody, that doesn't make it funny again.
I don't know, he didn't really come up with it was supposed to be funny, but even then, it's just like a deconstruction of someone who's already kind of mocking the genre is also just kind of a weird choice.
Yeah, it's like if they were stopping a stand-in for the Monarch.
Yeah.
Like, the Monarch is already mocking a lot of superhero tropes.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't work trying to use him to mock superhero tropes when that's what he's already doing.
You know, this is really unrelated, but I kind of want to bring it up.
Yeah?
I happen to have the TV on here muted on Eye of the Beholder. Like, somebody needs to make a villain visually based off those pig people.
Professor Pig is kind of close.
Yeah, true.
He also performs invasive surgery on people to make them beautiful.
Yeah.
Which, of course, makes them horrible and mangled.
Alright, that's actually probably what he's based on, then.
Probably so. He was honestly one of the few good ideas that Grant Morrison had when he was writing Batman. And I say that as a giant Grant Morrison fan.
Okay. In either case, back to the subject at hand.
Yes. Yeah, that did really bother me because I felt like that particular aspect of things really could have been done better.
Yeah.
Also, on that subject, this is not in any way the comic's fault because it was doing this before the movie came out, but Jackdaw's costume seriously reminds me of Birdman.
It isn't that much to me, but I can see it.
It's really hard to oversee with the beak.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Even then, Birdman's costume doesn't look anything like that.
Yeah, it's just kind of hard for me to not see.
Yeah.
It might just be me.
I'm still wondering if Birdman was actually supposed to be based on a show or not, because I really can't tell.
It's not.
Well, I mean, like, just on a certain superficial level. Because, I mean, the costume does look like it is.
They don't reference it in the movie.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just didn't know if it was, like, kind of treating it as, like, an alternate world thing where it's, like, Birdman was the huge action star instead of Batman.
No. The old cartoon and, Harvey Birdman, that stuff, that never comes up.
Alright, I just wondered how visually he does seem to be based on that Birdman.
I can see it. I think that might be a coincidence. Although it does sound a bit far fetched.
Yeah, it's not like Birdman's obscure.
Well, he kind of is.
I don't know. I wouldn't say that much, so.
Yeah, I could. That's like if it weren't for Harvey, I'd say.
I don't know. Even then, I think if you do the whole Birdman shot or something, then people know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but people kind of know him more for that cry than anything else.
Yeah.
God, maybe this comic is worse than we thought because we keep getting really off topic.
I think it's more just because of the subject matter it allows for just throwing off in weird tangents.
True. Especially for two comic book geeks like ourselves.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, we never do well sticking to a subject.
Yeah, that's pretty much true. We need to get like somebody with cattle prods just hit us whenever we're talking weird.
Yeah, and had someone to do one of these. I should get my brother on, just occasionally tell us, hey, stop it.
I actually kind of want to do like an off-topic thing for him because ever since you told me they actually liked Love Hina.
Yeah.
And also hates Negima because that's like the opposite of me.
Yeah.
Like Negi was one of my favorite manga ever. I fucking cannot stand Love Hina.
Yeah. Honestly, he read it, so probably should try and get him in on a Mid-Tokyo one.
Oh, I'd be down for that.
Yeah, we'll see.
Hell, if we actually do, Misfile, I'm kind of wondering about making my brother watch it with me, and like the Misfile movie, which is stipulated to be coming out soon. We would like to do a review on that one.
Yeah.
I've been kind of wondering about getting my brother in on it, if he would agree to it, which is a pretty big maybe.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, there's something more I could say about that, but it didn't really help solve it.
Okay.
Ugh.
Just like so we have the perspective of someone who knows nothing about the comic.
Yeah.
Like how the movie would come up to him.
But yeah, generally though, I think the whole way of how it approaches certain characters works. It's like, as I said with Thrasher, it's like the Robin influence is obvious, as is like the visual influence for Harley.
Yeah.
And on a certain level, some of her aspects of her personality.
Yeah, the fact that she's a grad student is very Harley-esque, especially
and also she does seem kind of absent-minded.
Yeah, she really does.
Not ditzy or anything, just absent-minded.
Yeah. Also, if she really is, if I'm right, and she is studying psychology, that's also very Harley.
True.
Especially, yeah, hell, Harley was studying the psychology in Supervillains.
Yeah, true.
Like, wow, that's I feel so stupid that I did not realize that until just now.
Yeah. If it helped, I didn't either. So. Yeah. But yeah, but at the like, even though some of the influence is like obvious, whatever, the character still feels very distinct from them.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think by me it's like she's probably an example to do. I don't know. Maybe I'm being too hard about this because it feels like the comic did get better about it. And most of my complaints were from the first issue.
For the most part, I don't think it's that bad about it. Like, honestly, even the Dr. Horrible outfit, like, I didn't really personally notice it myself.
Oh god, it stood out to me like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
And I'm not even
admittedly, it's not. I have not watched Dr. Horrible in years.
Yeah, so I was about to say I'm not a huge fan of Dr. Horrible. Mostly, I actually like the music more than I like the actual show.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, I can tell you at least one major thing that ruins Dr. Horrible for me.
Obligatory Joss Whedon sad ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, there's also just the fact that, like, I can only really remember one line. Like, outside of the songs, I can really only remember one line from that.
Yeah, it's kind of like Pink Floyd's The Wall. This was fine as an album. Do we really need a movie?
Yeah. It's like, I remember what the hammer is, and that's all I remember about that.
Oh my god. For a second, I thought you were talking about The Wall.
Oh, no, I don't know anything about The Wall.
The hammers are a motif in that one.
Okay, then.
And honestly, The Wall would be a much better movie if the hammer represented the penis.
But yeah, I don't know how much more I have to say on this one, really.
No, we got the...
Like we said, it's probably going to be kind of thin just because this doesn't have as many issues as others, and we can't go that far into detail on it.
Yeah, again, it's... Yeah, I'm going to make it bigger. A lot of it is... actually, I should mention on... This only just occurred to me seeing the two of these together. One aspect of the relationship between the two of them is, like... Mostly because Jackdaw is so mysterious, you do get a feeling like he's being manipulative in some way.
Yeah.
There's a scene where
there is a certain air of it where, at least on some level, he definitely is.
Yeah, because there's a scene where they're in the car together in the first issue, and she's thinking like, I should tell him I want to quit. And then he just turns to her and says like, I forgot to tell you, good job today. And you're thinking like, okay, did he know she was thinking about quitting?
Yeah.
Like what the fuck?
Yeah.
And yeah, there is, and that's something that was kind of implied about Batman at times, which it was implied about Batman at times that he was also kind of manipulating the Robins and doing their job, which I never quite bought, but here I totally buy it.
Yeah, with him, I have a hard time seeing him, if they didn't think they were up for it, I think he would tell them to get out.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, I find it much more believable that they would force them, like, with the Robins, there are a lot of... Because that's what Batman Begins was. Batman Beyond was implying that a lot. Like, he somehow manipulated Dick and Tim and Barbara into it.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, like, watching Batman the Animated Series again, it's like, no, you guys really muscled your way into these things.
Yeah, it's like he didn't really want to bring any of you along for this.
Yeah, you guys wanted to do this. Just own up to it.
Mm.
Then again, Batman Beyond also add in like this weird fucking idea of Bruce and Barbara being a couple, which is like, oh my god, this is so wrong.
Yeah, that's one of those things of like, I can buy they thought about it or maybe had a fling. I can't buy it as a couple.
No, I do not buy that at all. Like, how would that have even happened?
Yeah.
Do not want.
Yeah. For the record, that's one thing I do quite like about this one is they never at all hint at that kind of thing with these two.
No, that's a good point. Their relationship is never implied to be anything more than just he's her boss.
Yeah, it's like there is a certain level of like something a little bit more than that, but not much.
Yeah, it's not even to the point of like he's a surrogate father because, like we said, he's very mysterious. Even Thrasher herself doesn't know that much about him.
Yeah.
Like, that was a good point. That I thought that was a very fascinating point for a superhero story to bring up. Like, yeah, I know what his name is. I know like his job. I don't know very much about him like in reality. Like, just knowing the name and job is not enough.
Yeah.
Like, why is he Jackdaw? I don't know.
Yeah. Why did he base it off of some show from like this 40 or like for the 50s or 60s?
Yeah, that was another kind of fascinating idea. Like we mentioned that. And there was like an Adam West show based on Jackdaw. That actually precedes the creation.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine if like Batman was not a big thing and the only thing to him was the Adam West show from the 1970s, which was based off nothing.
Yeah, granted, it's based on like the Grey Ghost episode.
Yeah, that's it. It's the Grey Ghost.
Yeah. Like, I was thinking that reading it.
Yeah, that was kind of occurring to me too a little bit. Like, to the extent where I'm pretty sure that must have been intentional.
Yeah, I'm pretty positive.
Like, it's obscure, but the fact that these guys are comic book geeks probably means that they know about it.
Yeah. Especially because of the fact that the show kept referencing the Grey Ghost thing.
Yeah, like, going back to Batman Beyond, I like that part where you see Bruce wearing the hat.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that, and it made sense for him to do it, too.
Yeah, it made perfect sense for him to be doing that.
Yeah. Okay, so I think the key point you can take away from this is watch the Grey Ghost.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is really off topic, but like, I was gonna say the problem with that is that there are no tapes exist, and then I suddenly thought, wait, how would that ever be possible? There must, like, that shit would sell well on DVD, and then I thought, well, it took fucking forever to get the Adam West Batman show on DVD.
Yeah, there you go. The reason that took so long was because this one guy bought it up and was committing crimes based on the show.
Is that what it fucking was?
Yeah, that's what was going on in that episode.
Okay, wow, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're pretty much out of stuff we can say about Jackdaw.
Yeah, on the whole, I would recommend it. Like, at the very least, go look through the pages of the first issue on there, and if you liked it enough that you think it'd be worth $3, yeah, go ahead for it.
Yeah, it's absolutely worth it. It's a wonderful read. Good art, good.
It is flawed, but it's good. It's very good.
Yeah. I actually am given this already took so long. I am actually kind of regretting having not like waited until book 4 was done, but I'm not sure how long that's going to take.
Yeah, it seems like that's going to be a while because they haven't done any. Here, let me see here. What's that? Does book 3 came out about 6 months ago. And let's see, 82 came out about 3 weeks ago, while May 4, when's that at? The page before it's not on the load right, but
yeah.
See, the page before it came out like a good month before that.
Yeah, we're only just about at the hour mark.
Huh.
Felt like we have been going longer.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so it's kind of hard to tell when the comic will end, but I would say it's worth reading, yeah.
Yeah, I'd definitely buy it. I'm trying to think of something else I wanted to bring up. Oh, like I said, I'm really sorry we've been slowing down on this a little bit. I would like to try and get some more out soon, especially with some of the suggestions that people have sent in. I really do like being in contact with the authors for this kind of thing. It's always very encouraging. Because, we like encouragement, too, as reviewers.
Yeah, yes, it is very good to hear that, and, like, anyone else who has requests, whatever, please feel free to let us know. We're going to try and do requests fairly regularly.
Yeah. For ones coming up, there's one that I have to binge read that I do want to do because at the very least there is a lot of good and bad to talk about. Honestly, probably more bad, which is why it's being so hard for me to binge read it.
I'm not sure which comic that even was.
I've given. Let's see. I've given Adam so many shitty webcomics to read. It's Gaia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can definitely say way more bad things than good about Gaia at this point.
Yeah, I kind of am too.
Yeah. Yeah, like Martin said, I'm kind of interested in doing Mega Tokyo. He definitely is. When the Misfile movie comes out, we would like to do a review of that.
Yes. Which would probably also involve talking about how, as of late in Misfile, suddenly things are actually happening.
Yeah, like out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, it's like, well, that's about time.
Yeah, fucking Christ.
Let's see. There's one we've talked about doing, but we don't actually know if we will.
What is this?
Abstract Gender.
That's...
Yeah, that one's tough.
Yeah, I could definitely see that going either way.
Yeah, because I don't even know how you'd go about talking about that, because it went through like 5 artists.
Yeah. There's also Bob and George, what I've been trying to get Martin to read, but it's binge reading that.
If we do that one, it's gonna be a while.
Yeah, binge reading that particular comic is a Herculean task.
Yeah. Especially given I'm not a Mega Man fan, so I probably wouldn't be getting all the jokes.
Yeah, that honestly, I genuinely feel kind of bad right now when you being reminded of that. Like, oh crap, right? That's maybe we can't do that one.
I'm intended to play more of those games, but anytime I kind of start to, I just kind of do like, this is okay.
Even as a hardcore fan of Mega Man, of like old school Mega Man games, I totally get why they are not appealing.
Yeah. Right, I think the only ones I've actually played for a decent length of time are 9 and the first one on Game Boy.
I've never actually played any of the Game Boy versions. I understand they're quite different. I'd suggest 4. 4 is probably my favorite in the series.
Yeah.
A lot of people will say 2, but I don't think that's really that good for beginners because it's very easily the most difficult one.
Yeah.
It was for me, certainly, mostly because of Skull Castle. We're really
yeah.
Bob and George is good. I kind of want to do Bob and George because one, it actually has an ending.
Yeah.
Which I don't think a single webcomic we've ever reviewed has had.
Yeah.
And 2, I can't think of a single other Sprite comic I would like to do.
A certain part of me would kind of like to do 8-bit theater.
Yeah.
Which would also fit the bill of having an ending.
That's a good point.
Right, I've never read that ending. Should tell you something about my opinion, I guess.
Wait, what?
So, which should tell something about my opinion of the comic, I guess.
Continuing to telling our opinion of the comic, that ending is absurdly bad.
Yeah.
Like, to an extent that if I were to get into it, if I were to get into why it's bad with you, this video would be like twice the length it is now.
I'm kind of aware of the gist of it.
Yeah. Fucking Christ.
Let's just reference Kingdom Come for no reason.
We're ranting. We're gonna have like a mutual rant about that once I hit the stop record button. But yeah,
maybe I'll just throw out a note. I didn't even really think Kingdom Come's ending was that good.
Wait, the comic?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
It felt really tacked on even there. So imagine a completely unrelated content, different genre.
I genuinely think that the DC Kingdom Come comic is overrated to begin with.
Yeah, I thought it was okay.
Yeah, I do, but I think like so many people think that it's like it's like up there with Watchmen. And I'm like, no, definitely.
It's like
not.
maybe an art.
in the artwork, yes, I don't. But even that writer Mark Waid, who's one of my favorite comic book writers ever. I can think of plenty of other stories that he's
Yeah,
done.
actually, even art-wise, I would say I probably prefer Watchmen.
Yeah, even art-wise, I prefer Watchmen. Hell, even art-wise, like, if you want like a better written and better drawn comic written by Mark Waid, go look at his run on Fantastic Four.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay, there was something else along that line I wanted. Right, another comic I wanted to mention, but I don't know what it was. Oh, another one we talked about is, and this kind of relates on the superhero thing even, Anti-Hero for Hire.
Oh yeah, Anti-Hero. Yeah, that seems like it would have a lot of good and a lot of bad to talk about.
Yeah, I don't know how well the good holds up, but I can think of plenty of bad.
Yeah. I will say, I'm kind of not really willing to do... one reason I'm kind of hesitant to think about 8-bit theater is because it would be such a negative review.
True.
And I can think of a couple of other comics we could review that would be incredibly negative, and I don't.
Yeah, that's my main hesitation on Abstract Gender.
That's my Oh, okay.
Like, I can think of things I enjoyed about it, but I think it would mostly be negative.
Like it would be worse than when we did Venus Envy.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think I was largely positive on Venus Envy.
Oh right. I was the asshole on Venus Envy.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I recognize Venus Envy has major problems, but
yeah, it was kind of like worse for me than it was for you, though.
Yeah.
So I like wouldn't shut the fuck up about it.
One I would kind of like to review, but it can't happen because it's kind of lost to internet history. Though if somebody can find it, like a mirror for it or something, please let me know. We'll be happy with Dead.
Never heard of it, but does sound interesting.
Yeah, it was pretty obscure, like minor comic. It also has some pretty major flaws, but I think it'd be interesting to talk about.
Huh.
It's kind of one of those ones that, like, yeah, it has an ending, but the ending just sours you on the entire comic.
That's actually a very fascinating kind of ending to have.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, you might notice that we tend to try to avoid wholly negative reviews when possible.
Yeah, it's like, even though we have stuff we've given negative marks to, like, let's see, offhand, Venus Envy, Elder Shy.
Night Fighter.
Yeah. And I think Night Fighter was a little half and half.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know, Night Fighter I would be interested to see more of.
But I mean, like, we've never given a wholly negative review to anything. Like, I don't read this kind of review, which it's just like we just try to avoid those when possible. There are reasons.
Yeah, I mean, we said right from the start of doing this, like, you're never gonna see us, even though it did just come back and is in production, and you're not gonna see us do Sonichu.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it came back a couple months ago. Like, it's updating. Yeah. Yeah. It's like, yeah, we're not doing Sonichu. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, okay, I think we've exhausted the subject.
Yeah, okay, well, I figured I'd mention, talk about the future a little bit, just on the basis of, like, we've not done one of these in a while.
Yeah, I totally get, like, I mean, like, I just, like, oh, crap, let's just end on that shitty sour note.
Yeah, true. Yeah, we should go ahead and wrap it up now. Point is, we don't know what the next one will be, but it hopefully won't be that long.
Yeah, we have a lot of, like, stuff sitting. We have a bunch of requests sitting. Well, not a bunch, but, like, 4 or 5.
Yeah. In any case, yeah, in conclusion, though, yeah, I'd look into this. Like I said, if nothing else, look over the preview pages and see what you think of it.
Oh, yeah. Just, anything you want to leave us with, Martin? Anything, like, put on the poster? If not, I think we left them a couple of good nuggets throughout the course of this.
I'm trying to think of a decent pun for the word Jackdaw, but I'm trying to blank. It's Jack Dawson.
That's kind of corny enough that I could see it being genuinely good to use. I'm not going to tough that, so I'm not even going to try.
Well, we hope everyone enjoys our rambling spree where we seem to have accidentally reviewed Kingdom Come.
Yeah, I can think of a lot more shitty things to say about Kingdom Come.
Yeah. Yeah, same here, really.
Yeah. Okay, good night, everybody.
Yeah. Good night. Ooh.